All right, let's get right into it. We're talking about something called Agentic AI. And what that really means is artificial intelligence that doesn't just talk to you, it acts for you. And look, this isn't some sci-fi thing way off in the future. It is happening right now, and it's already running huge parts of our world.
So just think about this for a second. What if AI could go beyond just being a chatbot? What if it could actually start doing things, performing tasks, making its own decisions, and running entire workflows, all by itself? Well, here's the big reveal. It already is. And I'm not talking about some small pilot program or a cool tech demo. Agentic AI is live right now, and it's deeply embedded in the core operations of massive global industries. And what this really drives home is just how big this already is. We are seeing AI agents in global shipping where they're literally telling giant container ships how fast to go to save fuel and cut emissions. They're automating entire telecom networks, running the IT operations for a company like NVIDIA, and even simulating business decisions for huge loyalty programs. This is basically a new digital workforce, and guess what? It's already clocked in. Okay, so that brings us to our first section. We're going to move past the cool examples and look at the real results. How is this actually hitting the bottom line for companies? And this chart right here, it explains everything. According to data from IDC, for every single dollar a company invests in this kind of AI, they're getting nearly $4 back in value. That is a 4x return. I mean, in the world of enterprise tech, that's pretty much unheard of. It's no wonder companies are in a flat-out race to get this working. This whole movement has gotten so serious. It's actually creating an entirely new career path. It's being called agent engineering. And it's this mashup of product, engineering, and data science because building these things is incredibly hard. See, making a quick demo that kind of works, that's the easy part. But deploying an agent that you can actually trust with real-world tasks without it going haywire, that takes a whole new level of skill. So, let's move on. If these agents are the new digital employees, well, you're going to need a new rulebook to manage them, right? That's governance. And look, this isn't about putting the brakes on innovation. It's the opposite. It's about building the trust and safety needed so you can move even faster. So this is probably the most important shift in thinking we have to make. For years, the question was purely technical. Can we build an AI to do this? Now the question is completely different. It's ethical. It's operational. It's, okay, we can do it, but should we? And if it messes up, who's on the hook? Accountability is now the name of the game. And because of that, a new governance playbook is taking shape. First rule, every single agent has to have a human owner, period. No exceptions. Second, you have to have a complete audit trail. You need to know what it did and why it did it. Third, you've got to put your money where your mouth is. Experts say at least 5% of your AI budget should go specifically to trust and safety. And finally, you have to get everyone up to speed, starting with the folks in the boardroom. Now, why is that last point so critical? Well, get ready for this. Right now, a shockingly low 2%, that's 2% of corporate board members feel like they are highly knowledgeable about AI when the people making the biggest decisions don't really understand the tech. You get a massive governance gap. And that is exactly where trust falls apart. That governance gap leads us right into our third section, security. Because when you've got autonomous systems making decisions and taking action, you create a totally new kind of battlefield with brand new risks. The whole paradigm for security has to change. The number one threat isn't some hacker trying to break into your system anymore. The new, bigger threat is your very own, fully authorized AI agent using its legitimate permissions to make a harmful, expensive, or even dangerous decision. So how in the world do you defend against that? Well, security experts are laying out a pretty pragmatic 90-day plan. In the first 30 days, you find every single agent you have and you lock down their access to the absolute bare minimum they need to do their job. By day 60, you build real-time guardrails. Think of them like safety nets to stop unsafe things from happening before they start. And by day 90, you automate your security to instantly detect changes and handle any problems. So what's the actual tech powering all this? Let's take a quick look at the stack, because where these agents run has a huge effect on security, cost, and everything else. Yeah, it's not a one-size-fits-all world anymore. The public cloud gives you incredible scale, for sure, but a lot of companies are worried about skyrocketing costs and data privacy. That's why we're seeing a huge comeback for on-premise and hybrid solutions.
They give you way more control over your data and your budget, and they're often built for very specific, high-speed jobs where every millisecond is critical.
Okay, let's bring all this back home. This isn't just about big business and tech infrastructure. This is about your world and how everything from our laws and our jobs to our personal health is being reimagined by AI. And this is just a fascinating real-world example of that change. We are seeing governance go from just a corporate policy to actual law. Starting in 2026 in California, any police report that was created with help from AI has to include this exact statement. Think about that. It's a formal acknowledgement that if an algorithm is involved in a decision that could affect your liberty, everybody has a right to know.
This is also completely changing our jobs. One analyst, Josh Bersin, argues the biggest challenge with AI isn't the technology, it's the people. He says we need a new kind of leader. He calls the super manager, someone who can not only adopt AI, but can lead their teams through this massive shift, redesigning how work actually gets done.
AI is also pushing into really sensitive areas like mental health. Now, the promise is obvious. It could make basic support more accessible, but the dangers are just as clear. An AI lacks the confidentiality and the emotional depth of a human therapist. So the guidance is unequivocal. AI can be a useful supplement for building skills, but it is not a substitute for professional care, especially not in a crisis. And this brings us to a huge challenge for the next generation. A study from Oxford University Press found that nearly 1 in 3 students between 13 and 18 can't tell if what they're looking at was generated by AI or if it's true. And with 80% of students already using AI for homework, the need for AI literacy in our schools has never, ever been more urgent.
So, if there's one big idea to take away from all this, it's pretty simple. Agentic AI is no longer an experiment, it's a new digital workforce that is already here. And unlocking its potential isn't just about who can adopt it the fastest, it's about who can build the trust, the governance, and the security to adopt it safely. And that leaves us with one last kind of mind-bending thought. Experts are predicting we'll all soon have our own personal AI twins that can go out and negotiate deals for us, manage our schedules, and handle complex projects on our behalf. The technology's pretty much here. So the real question is, are you ready for it?